In Summary Task 4, you'll create the board game. First, you'll prepare your map view and then create a layout. You'll update and revise the map symbology. Then you'll add map labels and insert tables, images, north arrow and scale bar, title, subtitle, heading, rules, and source node. And last, you'll create a project package and archive your deliverable. Now you're ready to recreate the original board game using your geodatabase and GIS. You'll begin by preparing the map view. And if you look in the Neverland map view in the lower left-hand corner, you can see the scale there. And if I click on the drop up, I can see some standardized absolute scales, but I want to click on customize because I want to switch it from a absolute to a relative scale. So I'm going to click on the scale format group. And then from the list there, I'm going to set 1 inch equals feet as my default. Click OK. Now I've converted my absolute scale to a relative scale. The next step is to set the reference scale in the map frame. So in the contents pane, I'm going to right click on the Neverland map frame and select properties. In the properties window, under the general group, I'm going to find reference scale and click on the drop down box and select 1 inch equals 2,000 feet. Go ahead and click OK. Now notice the symbols get smaller. Don't worry, it'll look better once you set the map scale in your layout. Next step, we're going to create the layout. And so on the insert ribbon, we're going to click on the new layout dropdown and we're going to select a standardized layout. In this case, it's going to be architectural landscape, architectural D 24 by 36 inches. And that creates a new layout. And I can see that layout listed in the catalog pane under the layouts group. There it is right there, layout. I can also see the layout view, and I can see it listed in the contents pane as well. The first thing I need to do is insert a map to my layout, and I do that from the insert ribbon. In the map frames group, I'm going to click on the map frame dropdown and select under Neverland map my map. And then I'm going to click and drag a square that fills my entire page. It's a good strategy when inserting elements on your layout to do it interactively in general where you want it and the size you want it, and then to go in and specifically reset the properties to exact dimensions. And we'll do that now. So I'm going to right click on the map frame in the contents pane and go to properties. That opens up the format map frame panel. And if you go down under map frame, you can see I've got it set to Neverland map. I can also switch the panels to look at the display options, the display and the placement. I'm going to click on the placement panel and reset my size and position to exact dimensions. So if I want a 1/2 inch margin on a 36-inch map, then I'm going to set my width to 35 and my height to 23. And then in this case, the position in the lower left corner is going to be 0.5 for both the X and the Y. All right, so that set the exact placement for my layout. Now in the lower left corner of my layout view, I can reset my scale to 1 inch equals 2,000 feet, which is going to be a more intuitive divisional unit that is going to be easier for our audience to understand rather than some odd number like 5,333 feet. Now we're ready to update the map symbology. Don't worry if you don't get it exactly how you want it. We're going to revise it in the next step. So in the contents pane, if I expand the Neverland map frame, I'm going to select and right click the dots feature layer and go to symbology. This opens the symbology pane where I can set my symbology for each of my subtypes. And I just need to click on the patch, for example, for the small star. And then in the gallery panel, under ArcGIS 2D symbols, I'm going to search for a star. There we go. Star 3, I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then if I want to change the properties, I can click on the properties panel and adjust the symbol as needed. In this case, I'm going to change the fill color from red to a yellow. Now, you either need to apply your changes or use auto apply. So you either apply or just change it to auto apply, and every time you make changes to symbology, they'll be reflected. Go ahead and hit back, and there you can see my yellow small star. Now I'm going to update the large star. Again, I'm going to switch back to the gallery panel, scroll down. I'm going to select the same star, star 3. Go to properties. This time I'm going to make it larger. So instead of 10, I'm going to set it as 24 point and click apply. And you can see the changes reflected again in the layout view in the contents pane. I'm going to return to the symbology page and update the small spot. Again from the gallery panel. And I'm going to select circle 3, go to properties, and change my color to white and click apply. And then back to the symbology pane and click on my last large spot symbol patch. Go to the gallery. And I'm going to select circle 3 again. Go to properties and make it larger. How about 24 point? Click apply. And there you can see again the changes reflected. And so my dots are a lot more visible, and I've created a visual hierarchy between the small and large star and the small and large spot. See, I've got all other values listed there. That's at the bottom there, all other values, and you can remove that by going to the More option and unchecking Show All Other Values. All right, now that we've updated the dot symbology, we're ready to update the path symbology. And we want to change the path symbology so we're not just updating the symbol for all features, but by character type. So I'm going to select the paths, and on the context sensitive appearance ribbon, under the symbology button, I'm going to click the drop down button and switch it from symbolizing by single symbol to symbolizing by unique values. That opens up the symbology pane, where you can see it's set to unique values under primary symbology. And then I'm going to set my field from shape length and switch it to character. And that adds all 5 characters, which are the unique values listed in the character field. And I want to remove the value for all other symbols. So I'm going to click on More and uncheck Show All Other Values. I also want to set all the paths to 2 points. So I'm going to go to More and select Format All Symbols and increase the line width from 1 to 2 points and click Apply. And then I'm going to click Back to return to the primary symbology page. And now I want to update each of the symbol patches. So I'm going to click on John Darling, and I'm going to change the color for John Darling from a pastel green to a darker purple. Again, apply and back. Click on the Michael Darling symbology patch and set the color to brown. The Peter Pan to green. Tinkerbell to yellow. And last, Wendy Darling to blue. Now that I've updated the character path symbology, I need to update the islands feature layer. So I'm going to select the islands feature layer, and on the appearance ribbon, click on the symbology dropdown, and we're going to switch it to unique values because we're going to symbolize by land cover. And I'll do the first one, but then I'm just going to advance the video to the very end of this process. So we're going to change the field in the symbology pane to land cover. I'm going to switch the first patch out for forest to green. All right, so I've symbolized all of the land covers except for the rocks. So I'm going to click on the symbol patch for rocks and switch the color out to a light gray. I'm going to go ahead and turn off all other values. All right, that looks really great. I want to go ahead and save my ArcGIS Pro project, right? Because we made a lot of changes to the layout and to the symbology, and those changes aren't saved in the GeoDatabase. They're saved in the ArcGIS Pro project, the APRX.